Hey, how's everyone doing? Today we're going to be focusing on the Red Hat Certified System Administrator course. So this one is basically going to be about managing file systems on Red Hat 8. Definitely this is very important for you guys to remember on the test, right? Because you need to make sure everything is persistent and obviously being able to use the commands to help you accomplish that goal. So the first command we're going to use the list block. So this will give you the block devices. These are the disks that are in my machine. So the first one's XVDA, which stands for virtual disk, which is the virtual disk because I'm on a virtual instance, or EC2 instance for Amazon Web Services. So as you can see, there's two partitions, and we have 3 disks that have not been used, right? So the very next command we're going to use is called fdisk. Okay, and the reason we're using this is because it's less than 2 terabytes. There's another command called gdisk, which is over 2 terabytes. And that will be another video for that. But mostly you're going to be using fdisk, right? So we're going to type in fdisk. We're going to type in the location of the actual disk, xvdb, enter. All right, the first thing we're going to type in is n for new, and then just enter because it will be primary automatically. And then the first partition number, which will be automatic. The first sector, the reason why we don't type in the sector is because we're going to find the first available sector on the disk, right? And then at the end, we're going to specify where it ends. So where it begins is automatic because it's the very next sector, and where it ends is where we're going to specify, right? So the syntax here you can see is plus size, which is plus, and then you type in the number that you want to type. For our instance, it's 2 gigs, right? So we're going to type in 1. And then capital G, we press enter. That says created a new partition, 1 of type Linux and 1 of size 1 gigabyte, right? So now we can type in L and we can see all the different labels for it, right? If we want to make it Linux swap, a plan B, SFS, FAT16. Honestly, to be honest with you, most of these I haven't even heard of. I don't know if you have, but I haven't. Golden Bow, I don't know what that is. Or, yeah, some of these things are pretty old. But like I said, the only thing you're worried about is that you don't even have to do the labels, but I was just showing you just in case you were interested, right? So the next command we're going to type in is W, which is write. This will actually write the actual changes we made, right? So the good thing is if you mess up, you can just quit and then go back there again. So now that we wrote it, we can do ls block, list our block devices, and as you can see, we have 1 partition on xvdb, all right? So the very next thing is that we want to format it, right? So the command we're going to use is make file system. So you can use make file system for XFS, you can use ext4, you can use vfat, whatever they ask you for, honestly. So in this instance, we're going to do XFS, and then the location of the disk, xvdb1. All right, now that I did that, as you can see, it made the disk, the partition, right? Better yet, the whole partition is formatted with XFS, all right? All right, so the next thing we want to do, right? So we want to mount this persistently, right? So we're going to make a directory where we're going to mount it. So we're going to mount it in this directory. There's an actual directory called mount. I'm just making a directory here, and I'm going to call it test, right? Because that's where I'm going to mount it at, right? So the way you're going to mount this is type in ls block. I'm sorry, we would do that. Block ID. This will give you the identifier of the actual partition, and why this is important is because if the disk gets swapped or anything happens, you always have the actual universal ID, which is unique to this actual disk or this actual instance, right? So it's very important that we grab this. You can literally just grab this too if you want during the test. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to swap the disk or anything, but I think it's good practice to always use this UUID, right? I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to type in clear to clear the screen. And then you're going to use your favorite editor. And then from there, you're going to do /etc. And then fs tab, which is file system table, right? So once that we go in here, we're going to go all the way to the end. And then from here, we're going to put our UUID. You could also put the location, but like I said, I do recommend you using the UUID. And this is basically the files that's going to be read on start. So when your computer is restarted or rebooted, when they reboot it, is going to be read from here. Is going to be mounted, right? So the next thing, this is the location where we want it to be mounted, which will be in mount test. And then the next thing you want to put in there is XFS, which is the file system, and then defaults 0 0. That's all you have to type in. Very simple, you guys. And then you just save it. All right. Since I typed this in the file system table, the computer has not been rebooted, so it will not be read. All right. So we're going to mount it manually. So you're going to type in mount, and then you're going to type in the actual, like, where the disk is located. And then you're going to type in the actual location of where you want it to be mounted, right? So this is the disk location, and this is where you want to mount it. And we use the mount command, right? All right, if I type in mount, you're able to see that it's right here mounted. All right, that's pretty much it, you guys. So basically using the file system table is the most important one, because that is what's going to make it persistent. And if it's not there, obviously when the test comes, you know, it's going to fail. So the main thing, like I said, the main commands you guys want to learn is ls block. This is to view the block devices, right? The next one is list or block ID. This will give you the ID of the disk, which is very important also. The next one you guys want to use is the etcfs tab, and then just put in your favorite editor, right? At the end, you don't have to mount it, but you should just mount it just to make sure everything is working properly. But obviously, this will mount it dynamically. You know, it'll read it, and then it'll read the table, whatever's there, and it'll mount it automatically for you. So you really don't have to worry. And then you're going to be using fdisk, and then you can type in M for help, right, on there. The other one, like I said, is new for new partition, and then you're going to type in T is not really needed unless you have to change the type of the label, which I really doubt it, but it's T if you want to do that, and then the number that goes along with the actual label that you want to use. But the name, the main one is new for new table, or new partition, I mean. And then you want to use W to write it. That's pretty much what it is. Obviously, when we went through that little like fdisk partition naming scheme or whatever, obviously you saw that it was automatically like named. So if you do want to change the label, like I said, you can always change it. And then once you're going through it, just take your time, make sure you read everything. And if you mess up on it, just type in Q, and you can quit and redo it again. All right, that's pretty much it for the test, for that portion of the test. Well, you guys, thank you for watching the video. If you guys have any feedback or anything you want to see, please let me know. And thank you for watching.